All right, welcome back to, what are we now, episode 8 of the Uncrowned Podcast. We're starting to get some up there. I am back with our friend Anthony Levato, my barber. We saw him. We did a podcast on why men should be involved in politics, and that was prior to our 2024 election. So, with that being said, we brought him back on to kind of do like a little recap, right? To kind of figure out what happened, why it happened, what it's the immediate aftermath of what happened, and where do we take this moving forward, right? So leading up to the election, right, because we were both watching it. We were messaging each other updates and everything.
Mm-hmm.
What, were you afraid at all?
I don't think I've ever been that nervous with anything because this election had a lot weighing on it. Obviously, I was nervous of, and I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but the cheat. I was nervous. I didn't have it too big to rig. As time went on, I felt a lot more comfortable, obviously, as things fell into place. But personally, I couldn't trust what the other side would do at any point in time.
Right. What was the state that just stopped counting ballots?
It
started with, was it Maryland or Massachusetts?
I think it was Massachusetts. No, it was Was it Massachusetts or Maine?
Oh, maybe. All I know is there was a state on the East Coast that was like, yeah, we're just not going to count anymore. And that was still when it was like kind of neck and neck. They were going back and forth a little bit because of the swing states and stuff. And I was really nervous, dude. It was close a few times, but over the course of the night, it got to the point where it was like, there ain't no way. There's no physical way. And that goes to show, even if you looked at the map, right, where it showed a little bit more detail instead of just the overall general states, dude, we're a red country with a few blue cities.
That's exactly it. It was far more than I thought it would be originally. I completely agree with you on that. I was more nervous early on with Pennsylvania, and then the issues with Georgia where there was a lot of bomb threats and whatnot. Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't. What happened with that?
Supposedly there was a bomb threat early on at one of the precincts, and then there were a few more that had to be evacuated because of bomb threats. And I just had flashbacks of 2020 where counting slowed. You know, in 2020 they had a leak, just certain weird things happening that I saw happening again with those, but they had attorneys on site that could kind of nip it in the butt before it got out of hand.
Yeah, so I mean, after it was all said and done, what was the final count? It was 312 to
222.
Yeah. So we won by a landslide.
Yeah,
and he also won the popular vote, and then we also won the House and the Senate. So for the next 2 years, we are unified, and we can get a lot of stuff done. Now, this makes a lot of people afraid. What are people so afraid of right now?
Well, what you hear all over social media and all over mainstream media would be in regards to their rights. Some people feel that their rights are being taken away. I don't know personally what they're referring to, because the things that they're claiming are not going to be theirs anymore. Were never stated to be taken away in the beginning.
Yeah, I'm really. What's up?
Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say I'm worried about him at least making it to inauguration without something happening, because I know they are investing whatever money they got left into a recount.
Yeah, I didn't know which way you were going with that question, but feeding off of what you were saying, I guess Kamala Harris and their campaign is trying to raise more money to put together a recount. Is that for the House, Senate, or the presidential?
I would assume it's for the presidential. My only major concern with that is being Kamala raised over $1 billion and is currently $20 million in debt. Right? Off the top of my head, I think she gave Beyonce $10 million, Megan Thee Stallion $5 million, Eminem $1.8 million, and Oprah Winfrey $1 million.
That's pretty pathetic, if you ask me.
Dude, Think about it from a political standpoint. You're giving your rich friends millions of dollars. Okay, hear me out on this. If I were running, right, and I had $1 million, besides, the political ads and, making sure my people can help me run my campaign, what if I just took a few $1 million and just started selecting random American citizens in need? Oh, you need a house? Boom. Oh, our government didn't do anything for the North Carolina people or Hawaii? Oh, guess what? Boom. There's more money. Like, just start making it rain, because I'm sorry, I'm not rich. As far as I know, you're not rich.
No, far from it.
If I was handed a check for $1 million, you got my attention.
Right. Absolutely. I think that backfired big time. And the fact that it was exposed who she gave money to and what amounts definitely puts a ding in her campaign. To end up $20 million in debt when you raised over $1 billion, that's a real bad look. And ultimately, it didn't work out for her.
No, it really didn't. And people need to understand this too. If she raised that much money and blew through more of that, what do you think she was going to do with our country, with our taxpayers?
We'd be taxed to the hill. We'd probably be well over 60 or 70%, and we'd be in some serious trouble. And my question is, out of that $1 billion, did any of that find its way back to their pockets?
Oh, I can only imagine. That is so much money, right? They said they spent $50 million on just their labor costs, and Trump spent 10.
Mm-hmm.
So just even that difference right there. But let's take a step back and look, right? So we have the House, we have the Senate, we have the president's seat. Okay. Literally within 24 hours after the election, along with the next following day, so almost an immediate effect. He's not even in he's not even in the seat yet.
Right.
We have China that goes, hey, we want to have some good relations. We have Hamas backing off. We have Hezbollah apologizing. We have Russia being like, I'm open to a peace deal. Everyone in the world just took a step back and went, oh, we got to behave now. What do you think that tells you?
Well, his stronghold on the world itself, people have a lot of respect for him. And I think the current administration that we have and other leaders around the world don't have the respect or the fear of what can be done. He's a businessman, and I look at this country as a large business. The guy knows how to run it, and he has gained the respect of people nationwide or worldwide. So it all makes sense. I didn't see it that quick or happening that quickly, but yeah, I think he's got everybody on notice.
No, I didn't expect that either. And also, I am currently kicking myself in the butt because I didn't have the couple extra $1,000 to throw into the cryptocurrency and stock market, because those are currently blowing up right now. So while we're recording this and on live, right, I'm just going to pull up what I have just for my crypto right now. Let's see. What's today? The 13th. So the election. So this is almost one full week later. Bitcoin is at a record high and up $17,000.
Wow.
That is a 24% increase. What else do I got here? For shits and giggles, Dogecoin in 1 week is up 110%. The entire stock market went green.
Yeah, it exploded. Can you explain, so I can understand, and obviously anybody listening, why such a big impact on cryptocurrency?
Because Trump actually backed crypto, and you also have Elon Musk who backs crypto. It is decentralized currency. Trump wanted to make, or he wants to make, the United States the center for crypto. So anything involved with that is going to skyrocket. Elon Musk has been talking about making his X app. He's going to have a payment through that. So whatever coin he chooses to run through, and on the X app, he wants you to be able to pay your groceries, your gas, your bills, all that stuff. So that is going to skyrocket. Not to mention, there are a lot of coins that also follow market trends. So along with everything else doing good, it's just like any other stocks and stuff like that. Yes, they're a little more volatile, but they will follow market trends. So I know I sent you my stock portfolio of 11 stocks that I have picked out just from, reading articles, looking at his policies, looking at insider recommendations and stuff like that. Let me see if I can pull that up really quick so I can read that off for everyone. Just right here. Okay. So this is my Trump administration portfolio. All of these stocks that I have picked out coincide with his policies, the new economy, and new administration. So we have Northrop Grumman. I don't know how to Grumman. Bank of America. Valero. MicroStrategy. Palantir Technology. Palantir. Everyone pronounces these a little weird. Some of these have really weird names. Axon. Tesla. Trump Media and Technology. That's a big one. NVIDIA. Fidelity Wise Original. I think. Key tag is FBTC. The name gets cut off on my phone. These are all screenshots. Lockheed Martin. And that is my 11. But all of those all coincide with everything that he's going to want to do with our economy. So as soon as I get extra money coming in, it's going straight into there.
Right. It's just crazy how, it's not crazy, but it just goes to show the kind of impact that him and his people and his cabinet have, not only the world, but the stock market and all that. It's only been, like you said, we're actually short of a day. It was 8 days ago. So just over a week. And the impact that it's had is just crazy. And to think that in 3 months or less than 3 months, he'll be in office, I can't tell the future. It's just going to take off like a rocket and our economy will be booming once again.
Yep. I know one big thing that I actually am a really big fan of, and I think is a fantastic idea, is that, what's his name? RFK Jr., right? RFK Jr., he distributed out a website called Policies for People. And you can literally go on this website and you can make recommendations on policies that you would like to see enacted. For instance, one big one is every time a bill goes up to the Senate, it's a one bill rule, meaning you can't hide things again and again and again through these giant 1,000-page whatever the hells, and then no one reads through the whole thing. And next thing you know, there are billions of dollars in other people's pockets.
That's huge. That I didn't know about that. That's news to me, but I think that's super important because how many times have things been hidden in these bills and we end up sending money everywhere around the world and things get passed that nobody even knew of.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know about that. What's it called again?
Policies for People.
Cool.
Yeah, I'll see if I can look it up really quick, because one of the things that I would actually love to see is a mental health or suicide hotline for men. Something where men know they can go and they're more comfortable and they feel heard, and it's specifically tailored to help keep us going. And the reason why I want to be specific with men, because I know the women are going to be like, well, what about us? What about us? Well, guess what? We have a higher rate of suicide. So I'm sorry, but we could use a little more extra love and attention in that manner. Right here. Boom. Policies for People. Now it says open source policies for a better future. Policies for the People is a public forum where highly informed, experienced, and passionate leaders in their field come together to solve the existential crises facing the country.
That's huge. Governing for the people. Who would have thought?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they have health for the people, food for the people, liberty for the people, economy for the people, and peace for the people.
Well, you bring up one thing that you just read, health for the people in regards to the food. You obviously know about RFK's job with the food industry and the changes that he's going to make. I think that's huge, especially in your profession, being a personal trainer. That's something that you're a big advocate for. Just they're hitting on things that I've never seen an administration even talk about that affect people on a daily basis, not just in their pockets, but like health. It's just mind blowing the things that they're attacking. And he's only been president-elect for 8 days.
Right. Yeah. I mean, think about all the things that we don't like about the government, everything that is intertwined and interwoven into all the corruption and everything like that. They're basically just trying to go through and attack every single one of those. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if a little bit of it this time is personal. They came after his throat. Well, technically his head, because he was shot in the head, but they came after his life. I would not be surprised if this time around it's personal. And he said it himself. He's like, the first time around, I didn't fully know what I was doing. He's like, honestly, I wasn't even expecting to get in. But they bombarded me with a whole bunch of people that said I needed it around me. And so I took their word for it, thinking I could trust them, and I shouldn't have. Because then I got a whole bunch of people and lobbyists and everything around me trying to tell me what to do or how to do my job. And I did the best that I could. But this time around, I know what I'm doing. So watch out.
I think that's huge. And at this point, he can't be reelected for another 4 years. So he has nothing to lose at this point, and he has to. In his first administration, he ran on draining the swamp. I think at this point he really has to. And like you said, it's personal. They literally came after him, and this could be a vengeance tour. I would still like to see him, and I think he will, do the things that he ran on and accomplish the goals that he set out. But along the way, he needs to take out, not literally, but hold these people accountable for what they've done.
Yeah, 100%. I just wish there was a faster or better way to do it, because we all know what's going on, but we need to prove without reasonable doubt. We need to have a trial and have this and have that. And it's like, it gives them too many options to weasel out of it, in my opinion.
I agree. I have to ask you before we move on to whatever the structure of the show is. I've been meaning to ask you at the gym, the JFK files. What does he do, and what's the right approach in your opinion? Because he's talked about airing it out, but that's kind of that's muddy waters.
It's a sociological dilemma. Some things are too heavy for the general public to be able to handle. You have to think, you and I might be able to handle something and be like, okay, yep, I understand this. This is what's going on. This is how we need to digest this information. Some people, and a lot of people at that, aren't capable of doing so. For instance, you get broken up with, but because everyone knows that you're prone to lose your shit, for lack of a better term, if anything is too confrontational or too emotional, whatever, they decide to have someone else do it for you, or it's over text, or it's from a distance and you don't get that full story, right? You take it a little bit better than if it's right in front of you and you get all the dirty, nasty details. How big that dude's thing was, how many times you finished, like,
yes,
sparing the mass public of the specific details of how messed up and corrupt and the higher strings being pulled that's going on in this country. Honestly, as much as I hate it, ignorance is bliss. I feel like he should make those documents as available as they need to be, meaning they shouldn't be easy to find. Yes, there should be the Freedom of Information Act, but I feel like it's one of those where you kind of need to know somebody. The information is now out there. It's not as hidden, but you need to kind of have some sort of a reason or know-how to acquire that level of information. Because I feel like it would cause too much mass hysteria and civil unrest to where it might be doing more harm than good at this point. Because he talked about the JFK files and the 9/11 files. And with that being said, think about it like this. Imagine the turmoil and chaos that would happen if all of a sudden they came out and fully admitted it, right? Hey, yeah, we were the ones that did 9/11. It was actually an inside job, and all your brothers and sisters and dads and fathers and husbands, whatever, they all went and died for something that didn't even really matter. Yeah, I'm going to let you sit on that.
That's a lot to digest. I think you're right. Anybody that can critically think or has common sense, based off of what you just said, the fact that they've classified these documents and people don't know about it tells you something was corrupt. And that just reassures me, as well as I'm sure millions of Americans, that those 3-letter agencies in our government are not for the people. They're really corrupt. So I guess we don't need to know exact detail, but one could assume that what we're told is not completely the truth. And ultimately, if something does come out with JFK, I think Robert Kennedy and his family need to see those documents first, and at that point choose if they're going to expose anything. Do you see something like that coming out? I know that you said you got to know somebody to get that information. At some point, it's got to crack, right?
No. Sometimes it is better to die with the lie.
Okay.
And yes, that may have been a quote from a movie that my wife and I had watched the other night. But it's called Focus. It was a really good movie. Yep.
Yeah, I almost thought about watching it.
You got to. It's good. But think about it like this. We're both conspiracy nuts or whatever. We like to, eat that stuff up and just play the what if game. Okay. Moon landing. Did it happen or didn't it?
The more information, or the more that people talk about it and the more I think about it, I'm going to go with no.
Okay.
Yourself.
What is the mass consensus?
That it was all
that it happened, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Even though everyone kind of knows, like, hey, we kind of figured it out. Like, we know the math ain't math, and when it comes to this. However, if you want to keep saying that the moon landing did happen and NASA's exactly what they tell us, whatever,
Yeah.
they died with the lie. It's done. No one really talks about it anymore. The same thing has to happen because the turmoil and social uprising that it would bring would be too great for this country to handle, because those lies or theories are so interwoven into our culture. It would start to unravel the very fabric in which this country is founded on.
I respect
it's the same concept. Imagine if NASA came out and said, oh, yeah, we lied about the moon landing. By the way, we've actually never even been to space.
Yeah.
What would that, there are literal degrees on this stuff. What do you think that would do to our society? At this point, by not coming out with the truth and letting the conspiracy theories kind of mingle and whatever amongst themselves, if anything, now it's for the greater good, because we've already full sent it.
I respect that. I get what you're saying, and I won't disagree. Now, I'm not taking over on topics of this show, but I do have to ask, and this is one last thing. The Diddy list and the Epstein list, do those fall in the same category if we can't handle it? Or do we just air it out?
Celebrities. Those are just celebrities. They're not societal or government structures. They are not for the people, by the people. I'm sorry, but our tax dollars fund NASA. My tax dollars do not fund Diddy. I don't care.
Comes out. You don't think that there's going to be some political figures on that list? I mean, I could probably speculate on a few, but I won't go there because I don't need that.
Just because there are political figures on that list, those can be easily removed. They can be tried. It is so much easier to try a person rather than a fundamental organization, right? If we start putting our White House, our House of Representatives, our Senate, our Constitution on trial, our country is fundamentally torn.
Yeah, good point. I didn't think about it like that. Yeah, I agree with you. I hope those lists come out just to add my 2 cents.
Yeah.
I think it's...
So that's why, like, we can get rid of some of the, like, Homeland Security, FBI, CIA. We can kind of meddle with those agencies. Why? Because they're agencies. They are not fundamental to the constitutional United States. Those we can question all day long. We can indict them. We can do whatever we want with them, really. If we had to sit there and go, oh, we now need to hold our entire Senate or our judicial branch, our executive, if we need to hold one of our fundamental branches of government under trial because of a mass lie, our Constitution was built on those 3 legs. You remove one of those legs, we will have anarchy on our hands.
Very good point. Thank you for breaking that down. Now I do completely understand what you're saying. Yeah, we'll leave that alone.
So, as much as I would love, like, my inner conspiracy theorist, I want to know what's going on in Antarctica. I want to know what happened to the moon. I want to know where I want to see the skeletons in the closet. Confirm my suspicions that the devil himself is really running the show and you are all just pawns. But if they do that, one, that even more supports and or confirms the existence of our true divine creator. 2, it strips them away of all their credibility and power. And 3, we are left to govern ourselves. And where we are as a society right now, we wouldn't be able to handle that.
No, not at all. Now, there is one way you could find out. I mean, we could run you for president in 2028, get you in the White House, and you could find out on your own. But
well, here's the problem with that, because I would love that. But for some reason, you have to be 35 times 2, because why not?
Yeah.
Which doesn't make any sense, because our founding fathers were a lot younger. And I do think we need younger people, younger, educated, very stoic people in our government. Excuse me.
You got one that could run in 28. He's sitting right next to Donald Trump, J.D. Vance.
Correct. I would like to see I like him so far. I want to see what he does as vice president first.
Me too. I just like the fact that he's very well spoken, very polished, young, and very good at handling the attacks from the other side.
Yeah, he's mature about it.
Mm-hmm.
He's professional. That's how it should be.
Yeah.
Next question, real quick. Do you think Joe Biden voted for Trump?
Absolutely. I didn't know if I could swear on this. Yes.
I've been trying not to swear.
Yeah, I'm trying not to either. He looked too happy when Trump came to the Oval Office today and when they met. I think him and Jill were so spiteful towards Kamala Harris, the Obamas in that campaign, and everybody that they did. And her red dress, now this is another conspiracy. The Dems supposedly are not supposed to wear red on election day or something, and she wore a red dress when she went to vote. So I'm going all in. Joe Biden voted Republican down the ticket. Well, maybe not down the ticket, but for Donald Trump.
Well, you know that Obama hasn't talked to Kamala either since the election.
I didn't know that. Really? That party is so divided. I think they're crumbling. I think wokeism is over, and I think that party is about to dismantle.
Yep. Yeah, I think they're either one of two things. And I think Anthony Frisilla talked about this too. They're either freaking out right now because they got caught up finally, or they're laying low because they have something else in the works. And I'm praying it's the first one.
Well, I would be too, or I am too, but you know that party. You've watched politics for years. I would have to say, if you know them, we know them all too well. They got something coming. Not speculating, not assuming, but I guess I am assuming.
Yeah. Yep. So
I mean,
moving forward.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, moving forward, something that I would like everyone to kind of take heart in is take advantage of all these new opportunities. Stop with the, oh, woe is me, I'm going to have all my rights taken away. No, you're not. Just as I explained, the Constitution of the United States works off of 3 branches. So one can't have all the power. There are certain checks and balances. And also, if he was going to take away all your rights, he would have done it the first time. Secondly, as a society, no way in hell we're bringing slavery or segregation back. Well, actually, y'all segregated yourselves, so congratulations. But there are certain things that they no longer are even an option anymore. So for someone to wake up, there was one video where this chick was like, oh, I'm afraid to go to sleep because I'm going to wake up a slave. Says effing who?
Well, yeah, nobody said that, first off. Secondly, if she went to sleep and woke up a slave, who's in the White House still? Trump hasn't taken over anything. He's got 2.5 months till then. So if she went to sleep and woke up a slave, she's got some big problems from her party that she voted for. It's absurd. I've never heard of any of this. That they're going to lose.
It's ridiculous. And what they're so ignorant to is it was the Democrats that wanted to keep the slaves, not the Republicans.
Who freed the slaves, Joe?
Something with Lincoln Logs.
Yeah. He was a Republican, I think. Republicans freed the slaves, if I'm correct. So, if mainstream media tells them that the sky is purple, they're going to believe it. Anything that they hear on the news, he's a dictator, he's a fascist, he's going to put us in camps. If it comes from the mainstream media, they believe it. So nothing shocks me at this point, but everybody can relax. We're not going to be slaves. Certain people aren't. And you're not losing your rights. You're actually going to gain.
Yeah, no. Slavery in the United States, at least, doesn't exist in the way that it used to. Think about that.
Ultimately, I feel that every American's a slave to the government because we're just taxed to the hill.
Think about it like this, though. It's not just about the taxes. Our food is chemically engineered to be addictive, so that way we don't have a choice but to buy more. I'm sorry, but that's a form of mental enslavement. You aren't able to make a cognizant decision on what you eat because your mind has been altered to think otherwise. You are enslaved to the food, which makes you sick, so you're enslaved to big pharma. Every aspect of our life, people have no idea the strings that are being pulled right before their eyes because they're too stupid or estrogen filled or dehormonalized or whatever to even freaking realize it.
Absolutely true. That's a fact.
So
I think that's why this administration is going to have success.
But people need to take advantage of it. That's the thing. That's what I'm worried about is that we've been so scared for the past 4 years of everything with freaking legs. You go outside, you melt. Shut up. I don't care. I'm speaking directly to the men when I say this. Take advantage of this new administration. Better health, better economy. Do better for yourself. Get the better health right. Take care of yourself. Get your hormones checked. Get your damn testosterone back for crying out loud. Guess what? You're going to be able to afford to eat better. You're going to be able to afford to take care of yourself. Start bettering yourself to better your wealth. Surround yourself with better men so that way you can also better your family. Every single thing. I just did a podcast talking about the importance of the nuclear family. Everything is coming together as long as, in my opinion, the men need to step the fuck up and do what they need to do and take care of business, because I'm sorry, but it was our fault that we let this slide. We had become too weak and too soft, and good men stop bad men. And yes, we were oppressed and we were kind of pushed to be the bad men or lazy men or soft men or whatever. But right now, if we don't take advantage of this window of opportunity that we have, it will slip out of our hands again.
So men got to be men again. That's what you're saying.
I need to get merch with that. Make men men again.
I like it. Make sure you save me a shirt.
Oh, 100%. But you know what I mean? It's that I love that saying, strong men bring good times bring soft men bring hard times breed strong men.
Right. Yeah.
Right now we are in the times of soft men and hard times.
Correct. I mean, you're given an opportunity now. It's a fresh start. And at this point, we've been so deprived and so down. What do we have to lose? We got to just take our country back, take our lives back. So,
and I'm sorry, you can't tell me you love your family if you don't take initiative and do that.
No, I would agree 100% on that.
Oh, I love my wife. Really? You're 300 pounds and you live in complete and utter gluttony, laziness, and self-indulgence, and you're telling me you love your family and other people?
Yeah, you said it right. I mean, this is the opportunity. This is our opportunity to take our lives and our country back, and we'll see how the public responds. I mean, right now, a lot of them are losing their minds, but I'm hoping once they see things start to turn around and everything around us starting to look a lot better, we'll get our act together and we'll be back on track to making America great again.
So I think this, though, too, which is really going to help, even if they don't want to get it together, right? Even if they're so oppressed in life, I think now we're coming to the point where we're not going to tolerate that victim mentality anymore. You're not using my pronouns. How dare you? Welcome to the world, sweetheart. I don't care. I don't care I don't have the energy to care anymore. Just live your life and leave me alone. I don't hate you. I don't wish bad upon you, but let's live in reality. I think we're finally to the point now where everyone is so tired of cancer culture and offending everyone and having to include everyone that we need to look at some things or some people or some situations and go, no, that's not okay. That's a little weird. Like, especially all this child grooming stuff. That's not normal.
No, by no means. The stuff that they put in the schools, I think, like I said earlier, wokeism is dead, and America spoke on November 5th. I think that we've had enough. It's been thrown in our face for however many years, and we've had to, bite our tongue and respect others and their pronouns and all that stuff. And it's been thrown at us for so long. It's done. I don't think they could bring it back. I don't think the woke world is going to live on. It's over.
I'm praying it doesn't, but nothing is guaranteed. Again, granted, we live for the next life and not for this life. So regardless of what happens, I'm saved under Jesus' name. Amen. And the best thing that we can do, especially as God-fearing men, is to live as that example. Show that even though because there are people that are genuinely afraid of guys like us. They think that we hate them and we're going to do this to them and all that. No. Leave our kids alone. Stop criticizing our family. And that's really about it. We only started to have an issue with everyone when they started bringing it into the kids and forcing it upon everyone else. Not realizing that, like, we're some of the nicest people in the world if you just leave us the hell alone.
That's it. That's all we ask. I mean, I've had actual decent discussions with somebody, and I won't name names, who thinks the opposite of us. And we've actually come to a common ground on a few issues. But ultimately, my message to them was, as long as you stop bringing it into our schools and throwing it at kids and throwing it in our face, we don't have a problem with anybody. I don't care who likes who wants to marry who thinks they should have been a boy or a girl or any of that. When you start pushing it on kids and throwing it in our face, that's when the issue arises. But other than that, I couldn't care less. And I think I speak for most
100%.
people. Self,
Right.
it's a non-issue till you make it an issue.
Absolutely. Well, with everything being said, I feel like we covered a lot in 45 minutes. Do you have any closing thoughts or words for us?
I just hope that with this new administration, we take advantage. I'm recapping that we take advantage of a fresh start and we, in the words of Donald Trump, make America great again. And I think we can do it.
Amen, brother. Amen. Excuse me. All right, so I'm going to close this out here. Guys, thank you so much. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. Again, every little bit goes a long way. You are appreciated. Gentlemen, as always, stay positive, stay motivated, and stay uncrowned.